Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Guys, I'm going to solve one question. Okay, and the question is find the domain of a function. I'm going to write down the function here. Find the domain. Find the domain. Find the domain of. There is a function which is fx is equal to sine inverse, right? Sine inverse 1 plus 3x plus 2x square. Okay. So the question is, this is your question. Fx is equal to sine inverse 1 plus 3x plus 2x square. Again, the same question, sine inverse, right? Okay. Remember one thing, sine inverse, if you see sine inverse, what is the domain? Here, this one must be from -1 to 1. Okay? Whatever the value you are going to x, I have no problem, but it must be what? From -1 to 1. So very simple. We can say this one means 1 plus 3x plus 2x square must be what? -1 to 1. Right? So if you have this one, -1 to 1 means whatever the value you just put it here, it must be what? From -1 to 1. If this is not from -1 to 1, it has some different values, the function does not exist, right? For example, if this is what? 2, you just put some values of x here, and this is 2, so sine inverse 2. Sine inverse 2 does not exist, right? So this one must be from -1 to 1. So whenever you have a sine inverse something, right, make this condition from -1 to 1, because the domain of the trigonometric inverse function of sine is from -1 to 1. Okay, so just write down here -1 to 1. Now you can solve this inequality. It's so easy. You can say take the first case, case number 1. Case number 1, and what is the case number 1? You can say this one, 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. And this is what? -1, right? I'm going to take first solve this question, right? Okay. We have a lot of ways to solve it, but the problem that I want to explain you everything step by step. So I'm going to take this steps, right? So this one is, this is greater than -1, so you can say 2x squared plus 3x plus 1 is what? Greater than -1. Guys, one very important things, when you know the graphs, it will be so easy to find the domain, okay? But the question that for some equation it is very easy to draw the graph, but if you have some complicated rational functions, it is not easy to draw the graph of this one, okay? Because it involves differentiation and a lot of things like application of derivatives. So for example, as a teacher, I know all these things, so I cannot tell you right now, but I will try my best. So I'm just giving you the basic idea so that you can just solve it. But if you are so smart, try to solve this question using the graph, right? When you use the graph, the answer will be in 3 seconds or 4 seconds, okay? For example here, if you know the graph of 2x squared plus 3x plus 1, what is the nature of this one? So you can tell what value of x, I just take it, and the value of this one is equal to or greater than -1, right? So, but I don't know. I'm not going to take a graph right now, so I'm going to solve this question, right? So you can say this is 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. This is -1 shifted here, plus 1, and this is 0. So you can say we have 2x squared, this is 3x, and 1 plus 1, 2, this is 0, right? Okay. So if you see 2x squared plus 3x plus 2, okay, and I'm going to tell you one thing. Whenever you see something, the c is positive. I told you this in my previous lecture, right? So you will find here the discriminant is always less than 0. And when the discriminant is less than 0, when I'm going to solve here, what is the discriminant? B square minus 4ac. I want to check only, right? Okay. So what is the value of b here? So the value of the b is 3. 3 square minus 4. What is a2 and what is c2 here, right? Okay. So you can say this is what? 339. 4 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. So 4 multiplied by 2, 8. 8 multiplied by 2, 16. Okay? 9 plus 9 and 7, 16 minus 7. So you can say here the value of d is what? Negative. So when you see the discriminant is negative, okay, so the graph of this one, this equation 2x square plus 3x plus 2 is always, I'm not going to make I'm not going to make the exact graph, I just want to tell you the graph is always up. This graph will never cut to the x-axis. Why? Because the discriminant is what? Negative. Okay, so whenever we have d discriminant less than 0, means the d has a negative values, we cannot find the real values of x, right? So the graph is always upside. Okay, so we can say here the value of the d is -7, so the graph will be something like this one. Okay, so you can say here this y, this one cannot be 0 even. This cannot be 0 because this is not equal to 0, right? So if you just put any value of x here, in each case you will find 2x squared plus 3x plus 2 is always 0. Yes or no? If x from minus infinity to positive infinity, take any value of x here, any value of x. Okay, x belongs to real. From minus infinity to positive infinity. If you take any value of x and just put it here, you will see that this value is always greater than 0. Always means this condition will be always true. So this condition is what? Always true, right? This condition is always true. Okay, so 2x square plus 3x plus 2 for each and every value of x. This one always satisfied, right? So the domain is from minus infinity to positive infinity. The domain here I'm going to write down here. So the domain for this one, I'm going to write down d1. Okay, d domain, D-O-M-A-I-N, domain. For this one, we can say from minus infinity to positive infinity. Means any value you can take, any value. We have no problem because it's always positive value. This condition is always what? Satisfied. Okay, this condition is always what? Satisfied. Because this 2x square plus 3x plus 2, this condition will be always whatever the value of x you will give here, it's always a positive value, right? So this condition is what? 0 or positive. Okay, so it cannot be 0, but it's always positive. So the domain is a real number here, right? Minus infinity to positive. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about the case 2. Case 2, I'm going to write down this one. You can see we have 1 plus 3x plus 2x square, which is what? 1 or less than 1, right? Okay, you can solve here. 1 plus 3x plus 2x square minus 1 is 0. Plus 1 minus 1 cancel. You have 2x square plus 3x less than equal to 0. Again, you can say x as a common. So this is 2x plus 3 less than equal to 0, right? Guys, as I told you in my previous lecture, whenever you have less than or less than equal to, okay, so the domain will be always the numbers between the zeros, right? So what is the zeros here? What is the zeros here? Number 1 is 0, and here what is the 0? 2x plus 3 is equal to 0, so x is equal to what? Minus 3 over 2, or you can say minus 1.5, right? This is. So okay, so what you have to do here, draw number line. Okay, 0 is here, and this is minus 1.5. Minus 1.5 will be this one, right? Or this is what? 3 over 2. Sorry, this is minus 3 over 2, right? Okay, and this is what? Positive infinity. This is what? Negative infinity. So as I told you, whenever you see this sign less than 0 or less than equal to 0, this is your domain. So the domain is from, I'm going to use the close bracket. So minus 1 by 2 means minus 3 by 2 to 0, right? Minus 3 by 2 to 0. Okay, this is 0 and this is minus 3 by 2 and 0. So we have this domain here, just this one. for this one, if you have a value between minus 3 by 2, 0, this function satisfied, otherwise no. So, and here you can say all from minus infinity to 0. So what is the common portion? You can say what is the common portion from D1 to D2. The D1 is this domain. You can say this one D1. This one is what? D2, for example. D2 domain 2. Okay. So here all real number. Here just minus 3 by 2, 0. So the common is what? Here you can take all, means this one involve this one, right? Okay. So we can say the domain is, the common portion is, this is from minus infinity to positive infinity. This is intersection to minus 3 by 2 to 0, right? So what is the common intersection? So you can say minus 3 by 2 to 0. I'm going to use this one, right? So the intersection is, don't write this line. So minus 3 by 2 is the common portion, okay, the intersection portion of this domain D1 and domain 2, right? So this is the domain of the given function, this one. So this is your final answer. Okay, so the domain, the final domain is from minus infinity, the domain of this function is from minus 3 by 2 to 0. So guys, I hope you understand. So if you have a problem, you just mention the comments, and whenever we have a time, I will reply you. I think you all understand, guys. Take care. Bye bye. Assalamu alaikum.